Welcome to the debate. So, for decades, biomechanists essentially believed that to jump high enough on ice to spin 4.5 times, you had to, aggressively slam on the brakes to launch yourself upward.
Right, the classic trade-off.
Exactly. But in 2023, Ilia Malinin did the exact opposite. And he kind of shattered everything we thought we knew about human flight.
Yeah, today we're looking at the Hirosawa tracking study of Malinin's historic Quadruple Axel, or, the 4A. And the data really forces a fascinating question. Are we looking at a brand new blueprint for the sport, or an extreme irreproducible anomaly?
Right. And I argue that this data actually establishes a mandatory new training framework for the 4A. I mean, to explain why, we really have to look at the traditional trade-off theory that has governed figure skating forever.
Sure.
Historically, to gain that massive vertical lift necessary for high rotation jumps, a skater had to use a heavy, wide takeoff skid. They essentially used the ice as a mechanical brake, trading horizontal speed for vertical force. But Malinin completely flipped that.
Well, he altered it, yeah.
He totally flipped it. He reached an unprecedented measured maximum vertical height of 0.84 meters, while actually increasing his takeoff speed to 7.29 meters per second. He maximized both. Because of this, I believe the new biomechanical rule is clear here. Athletes must master extreme vertical elevation before worrying about horizontal width.
I'm sorry, but I just don't buy that.
Really?
No, let me tell you why. Universalizing this single case study is scientifically flawed. When you look at the study's comparison set of, I think it was 24 world-class triple axels, the mean height is 0.62 meters.
Right.
Malinin's 0.84 meters is a staggering statistical anomaly. The study puts the probability of hitting that mark at something like 4.66 times 10 to the negative 13%, compared to world-class 3As.
It's an incredible number.
It's essentially a 4 in a trillion chance. In statistics, that's the definition of a black swan event. Furthermore, we can't ignore that some rotation still occurs while his blade is in contact with the ice.
Well, a little bit, sure.
Enough to matter. The traditional mechanics of the skids still apply to the 4A flight phase. You just can't use a literal 1 in a trillion event as a realistic training baseline.
Look, it is a massive outlier. I'll give you that. But even if it's 1 in a trillion, the function of his blade touching the ice has fundamentally changed.
Has it, though?
It has. Instead of using the ice to pole vault himself up, which, kills your speed, he uses the rotational whip of his shoulders and knees to generate lift, skimming the ice almost like a skipping stone.
A skipping stone, huh?
Yeah. He maintains that massive 7.29 meters per second of forward velocity. He avoided the traditional braking effect almost entirely. How can we not see that as the new standard?
Because he isn't abandoning the skid entirely. He's just generating so much explosive upward force from his knees while whipping his shoulders into the spin that he overpowers the braking friction.
Right, which is exactly why...
Wait, let me finish. The 4A technically requires 4.5 rotations because of its forward takeoff, right? And the Hirosawa study clarifies that the full 4.5 rotations are never completed purely in the air.
No jump is purely in the area.
Exactly. A portion of that rotation still happens on the ice. So the fundamental mechanics of the axle haven't changed. He's just executing them with anomalous physical power.
But because he powers through that skid to get so high, it totally flips how coaches should teach this jump. The data suggests a strict height-first roadmap.
Okay, explain that.
Well, skaters have to secure that vertical height to navigate the 4A flight phase and earn the jump's base value points. Only after they stabilize that 4.5 revolution threshold in the air, should they even try to optimize horizontal distance for extra grade of execution points.
Base value over GOE.
Right. That is a clear step-by-step progression derived right from the study.
That's a compelling argument, honestly. But have you considered that framing a 4.66 times 10 to the negative 13% probability benchmark as a minimum threshold for elite training is just a huge misinterpretation of a case-specific measurement?
I don't think it's a misinterpretation.
It is. The study establishes 0.84 meters as what Malinin did, not what human biology universally requires. Demanding other skaters hit that extreme mathematical target before they can even learn a jump isn't a training progression. It's a deterrent.
Look, even if he is a biological outlier, the math doesn't lie. If you want to survive 4.5 rotations, his specific combination of exceptional height and high speed provides the only mathematically proven roadmap we have to pull it off.
And I come at it from a completely different way.
Tell me.
Well, this is deeply historic, obviously. The data tells me this represents an isolated kinematic anomaly rather than a reproducible law of skating.
Well, we do absolutely agree on one thing here. This was achieved via a highly specific, measurable kinematic strategy.
Yes, exactly.
There are no hyperbolic claims here about breaking physics or, biological impossibilities.
Exactly. He didn't break gravity. He just utilized an extraordinary physical output to maximize his available flight time.
Right. There is clearly so much more nuance to explore in the Hirosawa data. It leaves us to wonder, is Malinin the new blueprint for skaters or a biological unicorn we'll never see again?